Tokyo 42 is equal parts candy for the eyes, cheek-clenching bullet hell, open-world stealth action, and narratively driven assassin caper. It lacks depth in many of its core systems, but this lack of depth is more than made up for in ambition. Tokyo 42 is an ambitious game, especially considering it was created by two guys. What sets Tokyo 42 apart is how much these developers are trying to do with how few resources they have at their disposal. The genre blending style of Tokyo 42 is something you'd expect from some Game of the Year winning title made by a AAA studio like Sekiro or The Witcher 3, but this is a couple guys with a couple years on their hands of free time, and they choose to make this. An open world playground, jam-packed full of different systems that harmonize beautifully with each other. A nemesis system, which is complemented by a crowd system, making finding your bloodthirsty nemesis a bit of a Where's Waldo game. A cop drop system, which is reminiscent of GTA's Star Wanted levels. Collectibles sprinkled throughout the world. Here's me jumping on top of a moving car in order to access a coat collectible that was hidden out of view. The ability to tackle missions your own way. Bullet hell mechanics have different guns you can use to complement your style, or a stealth system where different disguises match different factions. These factions will fight each other. All of these mechanics play into each other beautifully, not to mention the story that ties it all together. Despite having a great time with the game, I couldn't help but think, why can't everyone do this? You look at the most recent E3 lineups, you see Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you see the next COD game, you see Devil May Cry 5, Dirt 5, Halo fucking 5 million, whatever. People are doing the same thing over and over again, and we're buying it. Tokyo 42 deviates from the norm, and it didn't get all that much coverage. It didn't sell as well as Resident Evil 20, whatever they're on now. It's disappointing to me that the spirit of Tokyo 42 was so prevalent and so captivating for me, and yet the rest of the gaming industry seems to be shying towards a more corporate, structured, safe style of pumping out AAA titles. I understand it makes logical sense to create something that is tried and true and make a sequel or an extension of a franchise, but it still sucks to know that Tokyo 42 was ambitious. It didn't have to be that ambitious, it was risky to be that ambitious, but they did it, and they did it so well. And that's not something that the rest of the gaming industry is following suit with. It's not all sad and frowns from my end, though. There are plenty of indie studios pumping out amazing original games and then moving on to their next amazing original idea. You got SMAC Games, who created Tokyo 42. You've got Tom Francis, who's just working alone on his projects. Clay Entertainment's getting bigger now. These studios are consistent buys for me. I will never not buy their games, and I love them for what they create. It's just a shame to see that places like EA or Ubisoft or I forgot the other developers, but every other AAA studio doesn't really mind that ambition as much and would rather stick to safe releases. So after my brief soapbox and a bit of a disorganized thought process, what I'm trying to say is Tokyo 42 was created with spirit, with ambition, and with a willingness to take risks. And it created a project that I really, really love. And the rest of the gaming industry can learn from SMAC Games and what they've done with their title. I really admire what they've done, and I cannot wait for their next project.
Listen, I know I sound like some entitled IGN reviewer bozo talking about what the next generation of video games needs, so if you didn't like my thesis, here's an alternative one. Play Tokyo 42. It's a really good game. Well, thank me later.